A strong channel for me has honestly been building my YouTube channel. The most important thing when selling is also having a personal brand. The frame of the call is completely different. If I have to give one piece of advice there, it's literally building this foundation from day one.
Especially when you're starting out, you don't have that authority, right? And it's hard for maybe a client to trust, especially if you don't have a track record, you're new. But if you do have a personal brand, a YouTube channel, Instagram, where they can go and watch some of your content, and then by the time they come to the call, the frame is different. So I think it's a way, it helps you at all stages.
And by the way, I'm not talking about like you need to have 100,000 followers. I'm talking about shooting content that people that are coming from Facebook, Instagram, cold email, ads can actually consume. Because if you can frame and actually provide value and essentially bring them through the exact process of how you actually get the results, it's a lot easier to sell them on the call.
All right, welcome to the randomest podcast ever, random shit. In the last episode, we touched a lot on the first few aspects of getting you up and running with your agency. We didn't cover sales, we didn't cover lead gen, we didn't cover how to prospect, how to get clients and all of that, and how to close deals. So in this episode, we will mainly focus on sales. So we give it its fair chance, basically. And then maybe potentially in the next episode, we will talk about service delivery. Now, as I said again, we are all here, 4 people, 2 e-com, 1 lead gen, and 1 no-code. So yeah, we will dive deep in.
Absolutely.
Where should we start?
I think we should start with eventually lead gen, how to generate leads. Now that you know your niche, you know what you're going to offer, you know how to, the problems of your market. This is what we discussed last time. Now it's just a matter of how to book meetings, how to find people, and how to convince them to get on calls with you, and then we can move towards sales calls probably.
Because I think all of us have had very different ways of getting booked meetings. Some of us have run ads, some cold emailing, some has just been inbound.
Yep.
So, Brando, if you want to cover how you booked your
Yeah, so
meetings.
we do mostly cold email. We used to run some ads, now we're getting back into ads again. But a strong channel for me has honestly been building my YouTube channel. It's been very great. I always advise if you're starting out, just build it. Your videos are gonna look like shit. As I said in my previous, I already spoke about this in the previous podcast, but literally the most important thing when selling is also having a personal brand, because people look up to you, right? The frame of the call is completely different. Also, when people get on an intro call with you, it's a completely different frame. So if I have to give one piece of advice there, it's literally building this foundation from day one. Instead of waiting 5 years like I did, or maybe like you guys did, I'm not sure your story there, but that's been the channels for me.
Yeah, I'd say as well, especially when you're starting out, you don't have that, I guess, authority, right? And it's hard for maybe a client to trust you, especially if you don't have a track record and you're new. But if you do have a personal brand, a YouTube channel, Instagram, where they can go and watch some of your content. So basically, after someone books a call with you, you can redirect them to a landing page, called a pre-call page, and you can link them to your socials, your YouTube channel, and that way they can consume your content before the call. And then by the time they come to the call, the frame is different, as you said. So I think it's a way, it helps you at all stages, but I think it's important, especially at the beginning.
And by the way, I'm not talking about like you need to have 100,000 followers. I'm talking about shooting content that people that are coming from Facebook, Instagram, cold email, ads can actually consume. Because if you can frame and actually provide value and show and showcase, do like case studies, right? How we went from 50 to 100, essentially bring them through the exact process of how you actually get the results, it's a lot easier to sell them on the call. It's like a completely different frame. So if you don't do it for the views, do it to nurture and the marketing, right? Because that's the most important thing before actually selling. The selling should be a very simple and smooth process.
What do you mean by frame?
I mean by frame, I essentially mean if you frame a call, the framing of the call is how you present yourself and how you're being perceived to the prospect. If you're being perceived like a scammer, right? instead of an expert, then it becomes a problem that you need to do a lot more selling on the sales call. Then you need to show them how the system works on the sales call. And so if you frame it before, it's a different frame on the call, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you on that, because I started my agency, doing cold calling, cold emailing. I remember when I just started, that's all I did. It was just trying to get lists from different sources, first free sources, logging into literally Google Maps, creating a Google sheet with businesses, email addresses, phone numbers, and all of that. Yeah. And I will do one day prospecting, one day calling. But it didn't work for me. It wasn't really predictable. And I started to see a bit of difference once I put a bit of focus on building a personal brand. Now I'm getting into YouTube as well, and I think YouTube is the biggest and the most important platform to build a brand on, because it truly sticks around. People log in there with the main intention of consuming stuff, right? Yeah. So, but I started on LinkedIn. So with my journey on LinkedIn, it really was helpful, because I started to have prospects more receptive to me reaching out, because they see my videos, they see my posts, I used to have this shitty podcast back then in 2021 probably, where I was literally recording with my phone and uploading it to Spotify and sort of cropping it and putting it in a video as if I was invited on a podcast, but it was just me talking. And I was cropping the scenes, the topics, question by question, and posting.
But you see, that's how you get started, guys. Like,
you
get started with these little shitty videos.
Yeah, man, it's you gotta start at one point. I have few videos of me, like, I absolutely disaster.
We want to see them. We want to see them after the podcast.
I have them. They are on YouTube.
Can we show them? B-roll? A quick cut to
no
Sanaz.
B-roll, man. No B-roll. My hair was like this. I was literally in my bedroom with. It was disgusting.
We've been there.
Anyways, but yeah, it was a really good journey, because it teaches you a lot on how consumer behavior changes based on how, as you said, you frame yourself. If you're trying to sell to a consumer, whether it's B2B, which I really don't believe in B2B and B2C. I think at the end of the day, you sell to people and everything is B2C. But if you're building a personal brand, it have an immense impact on how people perceive you and how receptive they are to you trying to sell them something. Yesterday, I had that, we launched some ads for one of our case study funnels, and one guy, he's a famous real estate agent. He owns a big company in Turkey. I used to follow this guy. I used to watch his videos on YouTube years and years ago, and I didn't recognize him. He opted in, and there was a problem with my funnel. So after you opt in, it wasn't redirecting you to the VSL where the video is and the booking calendar is. And man, he found me on YouTube. He found me on Instagram. He searched the shit out of my website. He pulled up all the links that he had. He opted into my school community.
Wow.
I didn't accept him till this date. But he reached out. He somehow found my email, reached out to me, and we booked a meeting, and we're probably going to close a deal. And crazy guy, the guy is obsessed, man. I posted the video. I have like 40 views on my latest video on YouTube. He commented on it like, good luck, good content, and all of that. Yeah. So it really helps, it really helps with creating content.
But also one quick thing is that every little small piece of social proof that you get on the video is like a testimonial, like a review.
Exactly.
Like I literally closed a client 3 months ago, and like, oh, I saw your video. Like one of my views got like 15,000 views or a lot of comments, and all of these comments were literally, yo, go Brando, amazing video, I love what you're doing, and they're all like small little testimonials.
I agree with that. Even like basic things as follows. I got on many calls with people who goes to my Instagram and they see leaders of real estate companies here in Dubai, some of the biggest companies, the owners or the managing directors following me. And they told me, I checked your Instagram and I saw a lot of my colleagues are following you. So, I thought I would discuss what you guys have. But again, just to come back to the point, have productive conversation. Personal branding helps, creating content helps, but in context. So you should create content with the main purpose of lowering or narrowing your sales cycle. That's the whole purpose of creating content. If you're creating content to flex, to do this, to show your lifestyle, it might help create a clout, create a buzz, but it doesn't move the needle forward really. So the best way to actually get the needle moving forward is to focus on content that answers your client's objections. And this is why Brando was saying that if you do this, the sales process, the sales call will be very smooth. Because by the time they get on a call with you, your content answered all of their objections. So if you're creating content with the main intention of, let me answer the client's objections and put it online for everyone to see. So by the time they get on a call with me, they already know that I talked about that topic before. So it shortens your sales cycle, and you get leads that are more near the buying decision instead of leads that are just shopping around or window shoppers. The easiest way to start doing that, literally pick a pen and paper, list 20 objections that you hear from clients on sales calls, or why people, like objections that you couldn't handle on calls, and why people neglected you and ghosted you and didn't buy from you.
Yeah.
And start creating content around that. That's the easiest way to start. Now, again, platform where to post it, it depends on where your market is. And
generally, YouTube is where all the market is.
yes,
So
yes. An educated market will be on YouTube. It's intent-based than an advertising platform. So
very high value and
Would
quality.
very
you-
high value.
Would you recommend trying a bunch of different platforms and seeing what sticks, or just go to like one or two? Because I tried to do like a lot of platforms at once, and I was like, I lasted a few weeks, and it's like, this is way too much. And I just went to YouTube because that's where I was getting some traction.
For me, I started with LinkedIn. It worked amazingly well. It served its purpose. But at one point, I decided to move to Instagram because I was working with doctors, plastic surgery clinics, and they are more hanging out on LinkedIn. And then I shifted to real estate, and my real estate agents are more active on Instagram. So I shifted there, and I neglected LinkedIn completely. So LinkedIn, I just create content for Instagram, and it's automated on LinkedIn. I don't even look who likes, who shares, who messages me.
When you say automated, you do mean that it's continuously posting on there?
Yes, but it's automated. I don't post. I don't spend time there anymore. We just use it for hiring. Honestly, that's it. But now I'm going to YouTube, for example. So I decided that Instagram is really because when you at one point you still need to get the ball rolling, but at one point you will have more flexibility and you will be more comfortable, and you will start thinking, what's more for me?
Yeah.
And Instagram, these are short form consuming content platforms. So the attention span is really very narrow and very little. So if you post a video, 2 days, it's dead. No
And
one
you
is
have to
seeing that video again.
grab
so
your
you gotta
attention.
keep, exactly. It's like sort of a spinning wheel. You just need to create content after content after content. You need to bring in. It's sort of, you become a slave to the content creation machine.
I think it's 58 hours they push your content and then they take it down. So you have 54 hours to get the most amount of views. And YouTube is another thing because on YouTube it's still compounding over time.
I always say it,
Yeah.
it's like digital real estate. It's like you
Yeah.
own it, it's yours, it keeps on getting.
Yeah.
Getting
I like
views.
that. I like that. Yeah. It is
Someone-
digital real estate. Yes.
Someone sees one video of yours and then they like it, they'll go and watch more videos, right? And then they'll watch maybe a few and then they might subscribe.
3 weeks
It's
ago,
completely
3 weeks ago, I got across one of a YouTuber called Daniel Dallin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys know him, but he's creating good content. I watched one video and I went on to watch all of his videos because I like his style. He's doing e-com. Honestly, I don't know what he's doing in China, but he lives in China. But his content is good, so it emphasizes on the point that if you create one good piece of content and you catch a good fan base on YouTube, these people will rave for you because they will go on and check you, subscribe, consume your content, check the rest of your content on YouTube, and they would like to associate with you because they feel connected to you. And I think that's a good thing. I think YouTube is a more overall positive platform to create content on. But yeah, as soon as you get attention, again, you need to have ways to convert that attention into leads and appointments. So what do you guys think about that? How do you guys do it usually?
There's different ways. I mean, if you're, let's just maybe talk about, I always believe in the idea of having a funnel. So getting people through a process, whether it's nurturing, whether it's telling them about your service, but there needs to be a process that gets them on the call prepared and they know who you are. Because if they don't know who you are, it's not about like the nurturing and just the positioning. It's more about like, okay, this is a random person I saw on YouTube, or this is a random person that saw my email. Who is this person? What kind of results are they getting? So if you can have that and funnel that through maybe a case study funnel, like you like to say, or a VSL, right? Something like that, then it's gonna pre-frame the entire process. But what about you, Arnel, since you haven't spoken a lot?
No, I'm just thinking, because personal branding is not my area of expertise. I'm also just starting my YouTube channel and I'm starting to post more on social media, but it's nothing where I've gotten leads from and such. My expertise, I would say, is more on the company branding. So creating perception of the company itself. And because the companies that we work with, they are a bit more pushy against, we want to work with good companies, rather we want to work with a private person, or, just someone on YouTube. For example, Radisson Hotels from Mont Blanc, they're probably not going to go to YouTube and find a person and say, good videos, we want to work with him. They want to see a logo, they want to see, case studies, they want to see the professional corporate stuff. So I've been working a lot on that, but I'm also working on the personal brand to have both of them backing each other. Many clients have told me that they love working with me just because of me, nothing else. We like working with you because we like you as a person. And others have said we like your team and we like the company and we like what you guys are doing and everything. So when they back each other, there's always, I don't have to explain it, but there's always something behind, or more substance behind either the personal brand or just a company. If they work with us as a company, they know that it's being backed and led by a really driven person, a person that cares and is problem solving. And vice versa. Even if they see a really sharp person, they want to know that he has a company behind that can support their work.
Yeah, I think there is a big concept right now of creator companies that people don't want to, they want to see a founder journey of building a company.
Yeah.
They want to associate with a story. If you see some of the top players in the industry, for example, like Iman, he documented every single step of building his company. And I am 100% sure that alone helped him in growing the agency, the business
100%.
itself. Because I'm associating with you, I'm seeing you building this. I would love to, if I relate to you, if I'm like, I built a multi-million-dollar company and I'm looking to outsource for an agent. I'm looking for an agency to outsource to. And I see this guy that I'm an entrepreneur. I relate to him. I was in his shoes years and years ago. So that creates a bit of a connection with an audience in some way that they feel connected to you, and it makes the sale. The end goal here of this whole thing is to make a sale. It makes that process way easier. So if you're building a company, but then you're documenting how you are building a company, a lot of people will come to your website, see the company, but then see the founder, and then they will come back to the company. But a lot of people as well will see the founder, go to a company, probably they can buy as well. So it's sort of spinning all together into one into the other.
You look at like Elon Musk, right?
Yeah,
it's
Elon
like,
Musk, another example.
Like the perfect example, right?
At one point, whatever he touches is gold.
Yeah.
So
it's an extreme example as well, because obviously Elon Musk and huge, but I think it's intertwined. Like people buy Teslas because of Elon Musk, and people buy Teslas, they probably never heard of Elon Musk. They don't know who he is, right? But they buy a Tesla because they love electric vehicles.
Chances are they know who he is, but also, I guess.
But
it's also because
Elon Musk is a pure manifestation of the concept of creator company. You're building a company based on a brand of an owner. At one point, you're just building things and you're documenting it, and other builders are connecting with you and relating to you. And at one point, whatever you build, they will buy. So it opens a lot of doors and it makes sales overall easy. So in regards to funnels and all of that, you mentioned funnels. For me, just to get back to the main point, booking sales calls for me, it used to be a lot about organic methods, pushing content, reaching out to people, trying to book meetings. I grew to my first 10, 15K with that. As soon as I started consistent good revenue, honestly, I didn't have, for the last 2.5 years, probably 2 years, 2.5, I didn't do anything organic. It was all paid ads. We scaled with paid ads. And it's just all about validating an offer. You're validating your service delivery, you're validating your operations, and then you can scale with paid ads very easily. There is nothing that will beat paid ads when it comes to scaling. It's just so predictable. I know how much it costs me exactly to get a client in different seasons, in the low season and in the high season of the year. So for me, it facilitates a lot the job of trying to acquire market share and trying to get new acquisitions. But at the same time, you will reach there at one point.
And I think, so what we're saying is like, no matter what outreach method or I guess lead generation sales method you try and go with, having that personal brand, creating content is always going to be there as a pillar that's going to assist whatever that is.
And that's the only thing that is going to grow and compound, because paid ads doesn't grow and compound. It doesn't. It can get shut down tomorrow and you have nothing.
Yeah.
Cold email, it doesn't grow, it doesn't compound. The only thing that will is your content.
And SEO.
And SEO.
Yeah.
But SEO is a good one because I follow Neil Patel a lot and his company. He talks a lot about the concept of SEO, not only on the web, but on social media too. And if you're good at SEO on the web, the traditional way, you will have a very easy time posting on YouTube and posting on social media because you understand keyword research, what is interesting to other people currently, and you understand at what times to push something. You know, when you understand SEO, you understand social media. So I would say also just build compounding stuff rather than relying too much on ads.
Look, at scale, I think when there is no problem in business that revenue does not solve, right? And as long as you have a system that's proving to work, you have a service delivery that's getting clients results, those clients keep investing their profits with you again to scale, they are making more money, you're making more revenue, more sales. It's very important that you gotta do everything at one point. SEO needs to be invested in. You gotta set up some cold email outreach system. You gotta invest in ads. You gotta invest in personal branding because it all works together. Like you cannot purely. It's for example for me, it is risky that I am focusing everything on paid ads to get meetings to get new business, but at the same time. I have a personal brand. I'm not only running ads, I'm creating content, I'm building a report. For me, my whole funnel is very structured in a way that even if we stop running paid ads, at least I will have an audience that I can market to from whoever followed me and checked my profile from the paid ads. Because I run all of my campaigns for the company, for any offer we launch through my personal accounts. I don't run ads from the company accounts. Mm-hmm. So I run all the ads from my personal account. And again, it emphasizes on how am I building it from the creator company perspective. So I'm building everything, but I have all of these offers, but I'm driving traffic to myself. I'm trying to sell people on myself. And then these people are as long as they are in my top of funnel, I can target them with anything instead of now go to my company, go to that company. It doesn't make sense for me. I just run ads from my personal account. A lot of people don't convert to my offers, but they follow me. Those are in my top of funnel. I can remarket to them with my stories. And this is why, for example, I share a lot of, whenever on my Instagram stories, the wins, the screenshots of the WhatsApp conversations of people closing deals.
And you get a lot of people that came from ads that DM you, right?
Yes. A lot of stupid people, they don't know how to opt in, man. They just message you. Like I have 90 plus message requests just from, it's clearly learn more button, man. But you still decide to sort of somehow send a message. Anyways, but
cool. Let's actually go from, since we were also wanting to talk about sales. We understand the importance of funneling people in, giving a frame. building a personal brand, right? Doing different things with paid ads. And maybe we can also have an episode where we speak about these things more in the technicalities.
Yeah.
I know that some of you want to know like the super secret methods and systems and whatever. We can
and more
speak
of that in the community, right? I think like a lot of this stuff as well needs, you know, sharing a screen or showing something. It's hard to just like talk about it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, we'll have hopefully the mastermind we did,
Yeah.
recordings posted in school.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I know we went a lot into that, but
For context, we did a mastermind for 8 days in Turkey, and we recorded everything that we know about building and scaling and growing an agency, e-commerce agency, SEO agency, web dev agency, and real estate agency. So, but let's move towards sales. What do you guys actually do to get somebody that doesn't know you to trust you and pay you? Like, what is the first thing that comes up to in your mind when it comes to getting a nice cold prospect to actually pay you for the first time?
Yeah, this one, we had one recently, a lady based here in Dubai, and she recently launched a company where she helps Amazon FBAs enter the Middle Eastern market. And we pitched her a landing page. We will rebuild you a new page in Webflow. She had her website somewhere else. And the first call was all about just talking with her and understanding what she's struggling with currently. There was no agenda to sell her on anything during that call. I don't even think that we pitched her any service. And we talked about, what do you do, etc. We told her what we do. She told us what she does. And we had the sales cycle maybe went on for 3-4 months, where we just had a call every 2 weeks or every month. And then at the end, she was like, but I'm really ready to get started and building a landing page with you guys, because we've had built almost a friend relationship for those amount of months until we closed it. So unless it's a lead, like you just talked about, Brando, that comes from your personal brand, you will not close them on the first or second call. Completely cold ones, you have to build that
relationship.
That relationship until they feel comfortable in saying, okay, this person that was a stranger a couple of weeks ago, I'm willing to give them money now for a service. And you're sending money cross country, like you're just sending money to someone.
If you think about it, right?
Yeah.
You're sending, like, somebody is in the US is sending money in Dubai
Like
from somebody that is speaking to on Zoom.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right.
Imagine the trust that needs to be there for you to just send out money to a random person. Especially today when, a lot of AI and scams and everything that's going on, people feel more angst when they try to rely or put money into something like that. And especially if you have a high ticket service, it's really important to build that sales cycle. But I would say people are afraid of not closing on the first one. It's like, you have to be prepared that it might take 6 months to a year before you close that person. You have to be prepared for that cycle.
And we're not saying that it takes 6 months to a year every time, but the important thing is that you keep building a pipeline, so eventually you get to month 2 or 3, or you have people that say yes all at once, right? But how do you frame it? Is it more about them, or is it you start saying about what you do, or how's the framework of the call?
Mostly about them. So we talked a lot about what they do, what they're struggling with. We talked about them as a person. So recently we closed a $15,000 deal, and it will be a 1 month, 2 month work. And then we managed to go from completely cold to closing it in 2 calls and 3 emails. That was everything. And he just sent us a confirmation, yes, we're good to go. The entire call was about, okay, what do you actually want to do? He said, I want to build this platform, I'm doing this new business, etc. And we showed them, well, we actually did something similar for another company, same setup and everything, and we built it for them. And he was like, cool, yeah, it seems like you guys understand what I'm trying to achieve. Because we showed him a case study that was exactly what he wants to do. And then for 2 calls, we just talked about him. He already knew what we do because we have it on our website. I don't want to bore him too much about the services. And we ran him through our 10-page pitch. And by the time he asked for a proposal, we just sent how much it's going to be, told him in the email, confirm if you're good to go. And he confirmed, invoice sent, closed.
So you'd say 10% of the time speaking about what you do, and 90% about what the prospect wants, what the needs are, expectations, what he's looking for.
100%. 90% of it should be about them. They don't want to be in a call hearing about someone else. They're not there for you. They're there for them, and they just want to see how you can help them, or how much you understand them. So yeah.
For me, it's a bit different because my process to get people to lower their guards where they can push for a close starts even before they get on a meeting with me. As soon as they book a meeting within our system, we use Go High Level to automate all of our lead gen, follow-ups, and all of that, pipeline management and everything in between. And they start receiving, if they book a meeting for 3 days in the future, they start receiving emails reminding them of the meeting, but more importantly also sharing sort of stories about our clients, video case studies. One email will be there will always be the link reminder, but there will be a bit of a story. Hey, look what we did with this client, look what you did with that client. At one point, I remember I jumped on a call with a lady. We didn't close because she wasn't ready. She didn't have any infrastructure, but she told me, you guys, there is no chance someone doesn't get on a call with you. You bombarded me with emails, and one of the reps followed up on WhatsApp as well. So there is no chance you don't remember the meeting. And as soon as you get on a call, eventually we, even in our emails and sort of build in authority and rapport, we try to use some of the famous names of the clients we have. So they are more familiar with them. You know this guy. Sometimes we even have clients that are really not big in terms of ad spend or even client size, but because they do a lot of content on social media, they look bigger than they are.
Yeah.
And people will assume that, you're working with that guy, probably he's spending millions with you. He's not, but he created that perception of himself, and I'm banging on it. So it helps me a lot. Once I get on a call with the client, I usually start with letting them, I don't want to make it sound as it's a demo call or it's a sales call. It's a brief chat, discovering each other's businesses, seeing if we would be even a good fit to work together in the first hand or not. And what I will do is I always structure it in a way that, hey, look, let's jump right in. You take the lead, brief me about your company, what's going on, how are sales, what are you looking for exactly out of this call? And then I will take control of the call just so I can share with you the information that's only appropriate to you and relative to you. Sounds fair enough? They just take the lead, share, and usually once the mic gets back to me and I will move towards the pitch, I know what are the pain points and I know which case study should I talk about and which client should I talk about, because now I know which problems they are facing and what solutions they are looking for.
Before you say anything, you should know exactly what they're looking for and what their problems are, because then you don't know.
Otherwise, you're just shooting at everything and seeing what sticks. It doesn't make sense. So give your leads or your prospects the time to brief you so they can, first of all, remember. The more you let them talk, the more they remember the frustrations of having that problem that they are coming to you to fix. So the more you let them speak, the more frustrated they become and the more emotional they get. The more emotional they are, the lower their guards will be up, and you can actually leverage that to actually push for a sale. Now, as soon as I get that, I don't say, okay, thank you for sharing all of that, here's what we do. I usually say, companies like yourself usually come to us because we have this and this and this. So I frame it, even my pitch is about you. Companies like yourself come to me for this. And this is how we do it.
And this and that is essentially what they told you.
Of course, the solution. You just want to bridge your, portray your service or whatever you are. It might be, sometimes I'm pitching the same ad account for two completely, or the same case study or the same sort of demo to two different clients, but it's just how I am framing it. I get sometimes on clients, on meetings with clients that their main objective is lower my cost per lead. I don't care I need more lead flow. But you have other clients where give me quality, show me what are you doing in quality. Either way, for every client that we work with, we're trying to bring the cost per lead down and we're trying to improve the quality. So you're achieving these two objectives in every client you work with. At the end of the day, at scale, when everything is good and life is pinky, every client wants a lower cost per lead and wants the highest quality possible. But because now they are stuck in this mental framework of my cost per lead is too high, I'm not able to get leads, or my lead quality is really bad, I'm not able to close deals. That's what they focus on. So you might be pitching the same thing at the end of the day, but how you frame it is very important, and this is why you need to listen more than you speak.
Question. I have a quick question. When a lead like believes that he or she is like confident that problem A is the actual problem that doesn't allow them to get the results, but that problem is actually not the real problem, how do you help the prospect understand that that's not the case and that they should focus on this other problem, if you get my question?
We get that a lot, especially now that we've entered SEO very heavily. And it's usually, we think that we're not growing in organic traffic because we're not posting hundreds of articles per month. And then we have to explain to them what the actual case is. But the way you frame it is just try to be like talking with a buddy. Say, I understand that this might be what you think is doing the damage, but we had the same case here and we changed this thing instead, and that fixed it for them. So I would just say, we can look at this, but the actual priority and the actual thing that is slowing you down is this other thing.
Yeah.
It's just about being nice. You don't have to be rude about it. It's just simply and plain say.
I think that if you everything that comes out of your mouth is backed by a case study, something, and not even your client, right? Even their competitor. Like, I mean, you don't have to. I always say you don't have to believe me. Like, I can show you another case study that showcases the exact scenario, and they focus on X and not on problem A, and then this is what happened to them. Like, that's where I was leading towards.
It's a belief, right? So you meet them where they're at, right? Which is what you were saying, and you're just breaking down that belief and you're building up another belief, right? Like if it actually is, not the actual problem, right? Not in like a snaky way that you're just trying to close the deal. Like if they think that the reason why they can't grow is X, but for a fact that that's not the reason, then you can break that belief and say, well, actually, from our experience, it's this, and this, right? And then as you said, if you can back it up with.
Sometimes you also gotta just follow them and show them. You deal with, sometimes you get clients that are really entitled to their beliefs and that are entitled to their thought, and they think they are God-sent prophets, man, and they whatever they believe is reality, and they think they are entitled to their opinions, and there is nothing wrong with that. Like, you gotta deal with people. Not everyone that will come your way is perfect, but you gotta have a good EQ so you can contain these people. Otherwise, you lose a deal and it becomes an ego conflict, and it doesn't really work out. But at least from my perspective, usually what I do is I let because we only do paid ads, so it's very easy for us to, if these conflicts come to the scene, it's very simple for us to sort of divert from it. Let's test it. Why not? It could work. And if it doesn't work, they will never say it again. They will never be entitled again. One of my biggest clients is so entitled to his opinions, and he thinks he understands while in reality he doesn't. But he wants to test things and he thinks they work. I'd never conflict him. I never push him back. Okay, let's test it. At the end of the day, it's it might work because you shouldn't also be entitled as a service provider. It's either you guide them to that vision that you want to sell them on, but also I think you should also not be entitled to what you think is right, because at the end of the day, it might have a bit of truth to it because they are in the day-to-day, in the trenches of their own business doing the thing. So you gotta have some sort of common ground and some sort of self-awareness that let's do it, let's test it, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. One of my biggest clients, when we closed them, a corporate company, but 16 years old in the market, and when we closed them, we agreed on a certain budget, but since they are a corporate company, they decided that, hey, look, we're not going to push more efforts into this as long as our minimal efforts bring in fruits. I told them that it doesn't work like this. If you want to get results, you want to diversify, you want to go all in. But they said, no, this is not for us. We don't believe that. We think we should minimize our risk, not put a lot of efforts in this. If this proves to work, we will go all in. I know it's strong. I know you should diversify your offers. You should have a lot of offers so you can maximize the number of leads and the numbers of interested buyers and sell properties. But okay, cool, let's test it. We tried our best. First month was really bad because we only had one offer to advertise in loads of markets and with a high budget. But second month they closed. Now we're shooting 50 campaigns. So it's crazy. So sometimes you gotta chill out. You're not right all the time as well, and you just gotta make it work, man. It's simple.
Yeah.
Just before we wrap up, I just want to go over something that really helped me a lot in increasing my closing rate. So away from lead generation, we already have the leads in the pipeline. Now make sure that we close them. And this is something that I don't know why people neglect so much, and I did for a long time. It's onboarding. How you onboard a client, not only when they paid you the money, but you onboard them when they become a lead. So what we did, and I've talked about this during our mastermind in Turkey. And I talked about how we use, for example, Notion to onboard clients before they even become clients. And we've doubled down on that because we saw amazing boosts in our closing rates. What we do essentially is on the first call, and this was done with this lead that we just closed on $15,000. On the first call, I invited him to this Notion page, which is a scoping page for his specific service. Because we offer so many services, we have each page that is customized for that service in terms of scoping. So he was invited on that. When we wrapped up the call and I've gone through Notion, how it works and what I expect him to do, even in that Notion page, you have a GIF where it shows how to click and do stuff inside of Notion, in case they're not familiar with it. But after about a day or two, I entered the Notion page and he's filled out the entire Notion page from top to bottom with a ton of information. He dropped Google Drive links, he dropped his credentials, everything. And then he emails me, he said, hey Arnel, I've added everything I can in this page. So what's the scope? And I asked him, looks great. Let's just hop on a call to clarify some final bits. We hopped on a call. He's already onboarded in our portal. It was just about,
payment.
For him, in his mind, he already paid almost. Like he feels like he's already become a client. So when I told him, let's get formalities out of the way, he was really fast with it because he's already started working.
Man, I love Notion.
Because
bro, I love Notion, man. I spend 80% of my day on Notion.
Same. I'm addicted to it. And not only Notion, but Slack. We've invited them to Slack. We've added them to Notion. We've created an entire system around them. And now they're in our system. There's no reason for them to go to another provider and start a process there when they're in our system. And in that system, we're adding, cool stuff. We're adding some case studies in small corners here and there. We're adding some, optimizations.
Juicy.
Yeah, it's just optimize the tools. But
I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah,
overall,
when I heard you speak of that in Turkey, I was like,
it's good.
this is so smart.
overall,
I actually forgot about it. I need to implement that today.
I can show you guys later at FOMO how I do it. But I would say overall, just even if it's not Notion or Slack, the concept of just onboarding the person early into a system where you will work with them if they also were a client.
Where they also see your other team members and other just...
So when they invited, I will show you guys later, but when they're invited to the portal, I add all the collaborators, the team members that we have, and they see 7 people just added like that. He feels, they're already engaging.
And when they say, hey, welcome to the team, from the copywriter, from the creative director, and it feels more of an experience.
These people...
Future pacing as well.
Everybody's nurturing the prospect.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the copywriter.
We add them to the Slack channel, and I tell the team that, please, if they have questions during the scoping phase, just answer them. We have one currently, a SaaS company, they want to build something on Webflow. And I ask the team, they will ask a lot of technical questions. Just feel free to respond as fast as you can to them. And they feel that they already started working with us. I saw Alex Hermosi talking about this too the other day, where he saw that onboarding was the common nominator amongst the top gyms. He said the onboarding process was on point with everyone.
All right, gents, let's wrap it up. We will catch you in another episode.
Yes.
And that's about it. Thank
Jordan,
you
want to give us a little
outro?
And end it off
in Sam Owens' voice.
That's
What are we
only for
building?
paying members.
What are we trying to do? What are we building? Just
Alright.
for context.
So we are building a school community, and the reason why we're building a school community, you know, I've said this before. A few reasons. You want to be around other people who are striving to grow their agencies, right? And you also want to be around people who are not 1,000 steps ahead of you, but are just maybe 10 or 20 or 30 steps ahead of you, because the advice that they can give you is a lot more applicable and is likely to work a lot more than maybe someone who, you know, is
Exactly.
way ahead of you, right?
Yeah.
So, yep. At this time, hopefully, there's a link below this video. Hop in, school community, check it out, and yeah, we'll see you inside.
See you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.